Hello YouTube, it is Nina. You're watching Fairy Chamber channel. I've been sick all week, so my voice is lower than usual. I try to speak very close to the screen so you can hear me. Anyway, this video is going to be about the reindeers and reindeers in the Sami mythology and the culture as well. I'm almost finished with my series on Finnish animals in Finnish mythology. This is about the reindeers in the Sami mythology. So those of you who are new to my channel, I'm from Finland. I actually live in Wales, where I study in the UK, and I have Sami ancestry from Finland and from Sweden, and majority of the Finns are descendants of the Sami people. The Sami people are the native inhabitants of Lapland, and Lapland in Sweden, in Finland, in Norway and Russia. So it's a very wide area, and among Sami people there are different tribes of Sami people. There is different languages, different Sami languages, and Finnish language itself, it's based on, well, Proto-Finnish language is based on Proto-Sami language. And there's like Northern Sami, there's Koltta Sami, there is Inari Sami, there's different types of Sami languages, and there's different types of Sami people, Sami tribes. For example, in Norway they have Sami people that are, excuse me, their lifestyles is more around fishing, and then there are Sami people there that are more for reindeer herding and so on. So it's there's many different types of Sami, and of course in these modern times, many of the Sami people, they have mixed together with the major population. For example, one of my Finnish friends, she's a Sami and she's also a Finnish and she lives more south, but her home is there in the north. But yeah, it depends on a person. And of course the whole Sami lifestyle has changed tragically, especially within past decades. But I think so has the Finnish life changed tragically. Not tragically, what's the word? It's not tragically, fucking English. Dramatically. Yeah, I found it. One of the essence in the Sami cultures is the reindeer herding. And I think Sami people overall are famous for being the reindeer people. So it makes sense that reindeer is one of the Sami's totem animals. They have several totem animals, including bear and the swan. They're also Finnish totemic animals. But let's focus on the reindeer. What I have done my research, first of the inhabitants of Finland, they were some kind of Sami tribes thousands and thousands of years ago. But they did not really straight away started to herd the reindeers. They were most of all hunters and fishermen. So the reindeer business started around 500 AC or something like that. And it started from the fact that Sami people started to tame the white deer, the reindeer, and this started this kind of companionship. And this was before this kind of economical business trading things that we nowadays have, but this was more having a reindeer more as pets, and I guess pet companions, something like that. And earliest written documents from people owning reindeers, they come from 900th century. And slowly their lifestyle started to go more and more entwined with the reindeer. the Sami people, they got milk from the reindeer, they got flesh from the reindeer and ate it. They got their clothes from the reindeer furs. Reindeers helped them to pull heavy things like horses. Well, you cannot ride with a reindeer, so I think there was a scene like that in Frozen. Not gonna happen. Anyway, so reindeer became more and more important animal. And in 16th century there was this major lifestyle change where when in the past the reindeer herding, it happened in one place, that people collected certain amount of reindeers to one place and they had their little hut there or their tents or something like that, and that's where they kept their reindeers. And human beings, they started the Sami people, they started to measure their wealth with their reindeers. But there came this major change in the 16th century, that Sami people started to live more in terms with the reindeer, to follow the natural cycle of the reindeer. For example, when the reindeers started mating, they started to follow the reindeers to their mating places. And when the reindeers gave birth, the reindeers went to a certain place to give birth. And Sami lifestyle became more a nomadic lifestyle, and they started to follow the reindeers. One reason for this major change was the meat industry. Can you believe that? It is that because those places where the Sami family had lived for maybe centuries, they started to what's the word? The food ran out. They had fished the lakes and ate the other animals. So then they realized that when they followed the natural cycle of the reindeers produce more and live better and longer life perhaps. So that was the main reason to start the nomadic lifestyle, the reindeer meat. I'm a vegetarian these days, personally, but when I was younger I did eat reindeer meat. It's quite expensive and it's very salty. But if you think about it, it's that kind of food. You can survive it when it's very, very cold, and in Lapland it gets cold. Anyway, this kind of nomadic lifestyle, it does not exist anymore in Lapland of Scandinavia at least. Among some Siberian tribes, Uralian, Finno-Ugrian tribes in Russia and well, in Siberia basically, near the, how do you call that sea that's right on the top? Ice Sea? I don't know the name of it. Anyway, around Arctic Sea, I think that's the name of it. Anyway, near the Arctic Sea, they still have these tribes that follow this nomadic lifestyle, and their reindeers, they go from one place to another. I personally think, even though it is about reindeer meat, it is much more animal-friendly approach to take care of reindeers. But we don't have this anymore in Scandinavian countries. It stopped around 18th and 19th century because of political issues and I'm sorry, checking my notes here. Because of drawing the national borders. For example, the borders between Norway and Sweden, and then Finland got independent in 1917. So they drew these lines between the countries, and also between Finland and Russia, and, you know. And that was the end of nomadic lifestyle, because they started to build these fences, and people had to keep their reindeers in one place after that. And of course, in many ways it has been very harmful for Sami people as well. which is quite sad, because majority of the Finns, for example, are descendants of the Sami people. And nowadays there is electric fences when there is the border, so reindeers cannot cross the national borders. And Sami people, they have the, I had to check the English word from my phone, it's they have the snowmobiles. So it makes easier to watch over the reindeers, I guess. So that is the current situation of reindeer herding, or the history of the reindeer herding in Lapland. So let's go to mythology, which I think it's always the most interesting part. There is this legend that in Sami folklore, when there is a white reindeer, an albino reindeer, that is the most magical reindeer. And depending, of course, that what is the Sami tribe where you come from, they all have a bit different legends. So the white reindeer is still very common, especially with those Sami tribes that have reindeer culture. So it is believed that the white reindeer is the leader of all the reindeers, and if a man would catch a white reindeer, that would be a very good omen and bring much good luck for the reindeer herder. This totemic belief for this kind of reindeer spirit, it has been a motive to take good care of the reindeers. And in many ways, like in Finland, and in ancient Finland example, when they killed a bear, the hunter would pray for the bear spirit to find good place in the universe. Same way it was with the Sami people when they hunted the reindeers. They prayed for the spirit of the great reindeer to take care of those reindeers that were killed, or their spirits. Well, this totem belief, I doubt that it exists among modern reindeer herders and their electric fences and snowmobiles. I guess it doesn't exist among Finnish hunters either. But that's the way our whole lifestyle has changed. The Sami people, they also sacrificed reindeers for the great reindeer spirit. And usually the reindeer that was sacrificed, it was the best reindeer of the herd. And most handsome reindeer. And of course this is not a habit that is practiced these days. But it's one of the oldest traditions is to sacrifice the take the reindeer horns, the antlers, and hang them to the seita. And seita, it's like a sacred grove or worshipping place of the Sami people. In Finland we call them hiisi. So the seita, it was usually maybe like tree formation or stone formation, very big stones. So they would put the antlers on the top of it, and then they would go there and pray for the great reindeer to give them luck with reindeers. It was believed that the reindeer spirit, it might have been a white reindeer, or this kind of hybrid between a man and a reindeer. So it would be this kind of reindeer hunter. In many cultures in history, there are these god characters that have antlers. Like in Celtic mythology, there is Cernunnos, and Pan in Greek mythology, he often have some kind of horns, so it's not unusual. Reindeer reindeer, they had very significant meaning for people's lives because basically their whole life was around reindeers. They lived with the flesh of the reindeer and drank the milk of the reindeer, and all their clothes were made from reindeer fur. But of course, the more close we come to the modern day, more it goes to the reindeer flesh, and some people become more modernized and get other influences. Still, all the reindeer parts, they were believed to have very magical qualities, like skin had magical qualities, the fur had magical qualities, the milk of the reindeer, magical qualities, and especially the horns. They were sacred. They were up to the sky, so they were very, very important part of the reindeer. And some people, they have very special connection with the bones, not just bones of the reindeers, but bones of humans and, well, all the animals. And the nature connection of the Sami people, that is very special. And ancient Finns, we also had very similar connection, like I talked about the releasing the bear spirit after you have killed the bear, and having that kind of what's the word? Forgetting English today. Respect, but also like gratitude for the animal, or the nature, for giving the animal. Like that is something we lack in today's society, but that is the way things were in the past, in the totemic shamanistic belief system. And of course many shamans also had horns in their heads, or when they dressed up as an animal, or trying to connect with the spirits. If one wanted to connect with the great reindeer, the shaman would probably dress up into reindeer fur and put the antlers to their head and performing a ritual. Sami children, they were taught when they were little that if they would find a dead animal or the bones of the dead animal, they would need to collect all the bones together and build the animal from the bones and then bury it, so that when the skeleton is complete, the animal would continue its life in the afterlife. So this is why people, they were buried there, all the parts there, and the same with the reindeers. Like it was bad luck to bury a reindeer if it wasn't completely built, the skeleton, unless if you took the horns, then you would use all the other parts to some other purposes. It was believed that reindeers would continue their journey, their life in some other form, in some other space. Some of the Sami tribes believed that they were descendants of the reindeer. This would lead that in Sami mythology there are lots of stories of were reindeers and people who could turn themselves magically to reindeers. In what is now Russia, in Kola Peninsula, it's an area around Murmansk, there are Kola Samis, and Kola Samis, they have ancestor who was this kind of reindeer shapeshifter man. His name was Miandash. I don't know if I pronounced that right, but Miandash, he was almost like a godlike figure for them, the mystical ancestor. And Miandash, his mother was a shaman, a female shaman. It's quite interesting actually that in Sami people in Scandinavian countries, they're all men. But then in Siberia and in Russia, the Sami people there, they can be female as well. It's good. So Miandash, his mother was a shaman and a Sami witch, a cunning woman, and she had ability to transform herself into a reindeer. So Mianda's father was a real reindeer, and mother was a human woman transformed into a reindeer. So that created Miandash. And Miandash, when he was inside her home tent that was made from reindeer fur and built from reindeer bones, inside the tent he was a human, but then when he went outside he would transform into a wild reindeer, and he could not be human outside, he could only be human inside in the tent. And I think it's very interesting myth. And the story goes that around the tent there was this river made from blood. But I think it tells about this kind of idea that reindeers had their own spiritual place where they would go in the afterlife. So in a way they would live in this kind of another reindeer dimension, separate from the human world. But Miandash, anyway, he got very lonely in the tent, and he said to his mother that he would like to have a human spouse. Mother was not very pleased, but she loved her son, so she went to the earth and found him a human spouse. There are several versions what happened after that. One is that they got a lot of kids, and all the kids, when they would go outside, they would all become reindeers. There's one story that the woman, the wife of Miandash, she would also become a reindeer. And there's also one story that is quite totemistic in my belief, that Miandash, he would at one point become so much in touch with his inner reindeer that he did not return to the tent. He would run wild in the hills, in the tundra, and the kids would follow him. So the wife, she would sacrifice a reindeer for the great reindeer spirit, and at the time the spirit of Miandash would go inside the woman, and she was sitting on a deer fur, and half of the reindeer would go inside her as well. So she would embody the spirit of her husband. And in a way this is a myth about reincarnation. So the reindeer ancestry would continue in the wife, and when she would remarry a human, the line would continue. So this is what the Kuala Sami people believed, that was their ancestry. Still in the 20s and in the 30s, the Kuala Sami people, they hold this myth in very great value, but I think nowadays they see more as a fable. But in totemic belief systems and in cultures, this kind of story where there is a animal that becomes like a clan symbol, it usually starts from this kind of story where there is animal father or mother of the tribe. It can be an otter or a crow or bobcat or wolf, or, you can find these in many cultures, in Native American cultures, in Celtic cultures, in Finnish mythology, in Slavic mythology. It's universal, but that is very common in totemic belief systems. Quite often the animal also represents the way of life of the certain tribe. And for example, otter could be a tribe that would live near water. Reindeer would relate to earth. If you have a bird totem more about air, maybe hunting birds or something, or looking for the stars. And it's elemental thing as well. This motive of any kind of idea of becoming a werewolf or werebear or a werebird or whatever, shapeshifter. I think it comes from this kind of primal idea that humans have, looking for the sky and wishing I could be a bird or any other animal. Be free of human world and become totally free. So I think that is the main motive in the reindeer story, that watching the reindeer running on the hills, there would be that kind of certain freedom. If someone wants to see a absolutely the best Finnish horror film, this in my opinion, White Reindeer, it's really, really good. It's an old black and white film from 1952, and it tells about this Sami woman who is also a witch, and she cast this spell to make all the men want her, or well, she goes to the shaman to ask some help in that area, and then she becomes a reindeer. So I'm not going to spoil the plot for you. I'll put a link to the description box if someone wants to see the trailer. I think you can find it on YouTube. Anyway, it's a really creepy film, even though it's black and white. And what there is in my camera? Oh, there's a fly. Go away. Oh, it's a really good film, but I think it's a bit silly because she's really like reindeer. She gets fangs and all. It's funny, but creepy and funny. So if someone wants to watch a quality Finnish horror film, I recommend that. Oh, there are so many bad Finnish horror films that I've seen, so I will stick with the classics. Okay, these were some of the Sami stories in about reindeers. So thank you for watching, guys, and I will see you on my next video. Bye! Hello YouTube, it is Nina and you are watching Fairy Chamber channel. In this video I'm going to talk to you about the gods and goddesses in the Sami mythology. So those of you who don't know, Sami people are the native people in Lapland. In Finland, Sweden, Norway and Russia. And those of you who are new to my channel, my name is Nina and I'm Finnish, but I live in the UK, and I have Sami ancestry in Finland and in Sweden, and majority of the Finns are in fact descendants of Samis and Balts. So we are all related to the Sami people more or less, and I have always had really great interest towards Sami culture and Sami mythology, and in many ways it is very similar to Finnish mythology and the early shamanism that was practiced in Finland a long time ago. But in this video I'm going to focus on Sami deities. When you think about the Sami people and Lapland, first thing that comes to mind is probably reindeers and reindeer culture. So definitely, especially in Finland and in Sweden, the Sami tribes here, especially in the past, their life has been very intertwined with reindeers and reindeer herding. And nowadays, pretty much in all 4 countries, the Sami people, many of them have blended in to the major population, which is why, for example, in Finland many Finns have Sami ancestry. But then, like, I have friends who are Samis and like identify themselves as both Finn and Sami. Still they hold on to their Sami customs, which I think is very important. So especially in the past, in Scandinavia, Sami people they had this nomadic lifestyle when they followed the reindeers, when they followed the natural cycle of the reindeer. This habit is still going on in Russia among some of the Sami tribes there, but not so much in Scandinavia anymore. When I started to research on the Sami deities, I did notice that this nomadic lifestyle has had really big importance the way Sami people saw their deities and what kind of deities they had. This kind of traveling, the nomadic lifestyle, following these animals to their specific places, like places where reindeer would give birth, or reindeers would mate, or where the reindeers would eat. So you would always see the same mountain or the same lake or same tree in the desert. So this would create this huge importance in Sami mythology to give personifications for the sun, the moon, the stars, thunder, and northern lights. So Sami mythology in this case is, I think, very special and has very beautiful and very strong nature connection. And also, when I tell you the names of these deities, I'm not really sure if I'm pronouncing them right, because I'm not a Sami speaker. I'm a Finnish speaker, and of course Sami language, it is related to Finnish language, so I think I'll do okay. But also be aware that these name of the gods and goddesses that I'm mentioning, I think they are in Northern Sami. I'm not really sure, but these written style of the names, it varies in different Sami languages. So I will write these names to the description box. So if you want to find information, there might be different varieties in these names in different Sami accents and Sami languages, and the way to pronounce them, just to be aware of this. And same god or goddess can have several different names. In that sense, it's very close to Finnish language, because we have lots of names for our deities, even though it would be one and the same deity. So let's get started. So probably the most important deity for the Sami people was the sun, whose name is Päiv, which is where Finnish word päivä comes from, this word päiv. Päivä in Finnish means a day, so Päiv means the sun and also the day. And usually the Sami deities, they are not portrayed as humans. They might have this kind of personal human aspect as well, but usually they are just what they are. So the sun personified, it's called Päivneide, which means day maiden or the sun maiden. In Finnish, aurinkoneiti, the sun maiden. So Päivneide, it is the Sami sun goddess personified. But usually in Sami mythology, the gods and goddesses or deities, they are not really personified, and most of the time they are also very androgynous, so there isn't this kind of idea of sex there. So but the sun and the moon, they have personifications or this kind of personal aspect there as well. So the sun, it's a female or feminine, not a female, feminine, and this kind of nurturing power. So when you think about Lapland and the way day goes there, summers are very short, very warm and very light, and winter is very long and very dark, and there is Kamos, which means this time of the year when the sun doesn't come up at all, it's in the other side of the world. So when you put this sun worship into this context, you can understand why the Sami people hold the sun as very important deity. And in the springtime, usually around February, when the sun would come up for maybe a few minutes or a few seconds to the skies and then would go back where it came from, the people would gather together to the ice to wonder and greet the sun. This is something that also happened in ancient Finland in the past. So the sun people would go to the ice and greet the sun in the springtime when the sun would finally come up, even if it would be there just a little while and go down. So Sami people, depending of course on the tribe, some tribes they sacrificed white reindeers for the sun. In Sweden, the Samis they would make a cake from reindeer blood. They would hang it out to a tree and they would leave it to the sun as a gift. And in Norway, the Sami people there, they have made porridge. It has been called the sun porridge, and that has been left for the sun to eat and to give a sacrifice to the sun. And also during winter times, people have light fires, and of course sun hasn't been around. People have light fires to represent the sun and welcome back the sun, and they have sacrificed round objects and throw them to the fire to wish the sun would return. And also in several different Sami shaman drums, they have this sun motive in the drum. And the shaman drums in Lapland among Sami people, they're quite special shaman drums compared to other shaman drums in the world, because in many cultures there have been shaman drums but people haven't painted anything on them, so it's very much a Sami thing. And also in some tribes in Siberia they also have painted pictures to their drums. And one of the major motifs in shaman drums among Sami shamans has been the sun motive, so there has been sun in the middle. There we have a typical Sami shaman drum, and you can see here is the sun motive. So it's usually portrayed like this, and I personally think it's a bit like Bridget Cross in Celtic tradition, but the Sami drum, the lines go straight, they don't go like twined like it does in the Bridget Cross, which is also a sun symbol, but sun symbol, it is very much universal thing. Also in Sami mythology there is lots of these kind of groups of three, which seems to be also another universal thing among different goddesses. There's like groups of three goddesses in many different mythologies. In Sami mythology there's group of three spring goddesses. This Päiväneda, the sun maiden, she's one of them. Also there is Salaneda, and she is also this kind of spring goddess. Her job is to order the cold and the wind and the snow to remove so that spring could welcome the sun. Then there's also third maiden who is called Rananeda. So there's Rananeda, Päiväneda and Salaneda. And these are all Sami spring goddesses. Thank you for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed this and have a great time wherever you in the world you are. Bye! Hello YouTube, it is Nina here. You're watching Fairy Chamber channel. Continuing my series on the Sami gods. And today I have 3 extraordinary gods to share with you their stories. And those of you who are new to my channel, I'm Finn with Sami ancestry, and the Sami people, they are the native people of Lapland of Finland, Sweden Norway and Russia, and I have always had really deep fascination for Sami mythology. And overall Finns, we are descendants of the different Sami tribes and Baltic tribes that have lived in the past in what is nowadays Finland. So let's get into the Sami deities. The first god that I'm going to talk to you about, known by many names. His most common name is Radien, and he's also known as Rattenohi, Veraden Radien, Malmen Radien, Torve Radien, and Veralden Olmai. And among Sami people there's many different Sami languages, as many as there are different Sami tribes, so the written style of these names varies because Sami language it branches to different Sami languages. So I'll write these names to the description box, so when you do your research you can try different typings for them, but there isn't like one specific name for this deity. Radien, it is the most common used name. So Radien, he was a god of fertility, god of reindeers, a reindeer protector, god of human relations, and a god protector of the families and protector of social situations. So he was god of the community. And Radien, like in many cases in Sami mythology, these gods, they weren't depicted as humans. They weren't very often depicted as humans, and Radien especially has been portrayed most often as abstract god, like an invisible spirit. And this is the case in many different deities in Sami mythology. The sun is portrayed as the sun, the moon is portrayed as the moon, and many of the spirits are portrayed just as spirits. So Radien is, according to pretty much all the literal information and sources, as an abstract higher god, and very much worshipped by humans because he was the god of human relationships and social intercourse, and also god of fertility. And there is facts that Radien was worshipped by both sexes, both men and women. And then in Sami mythology there's lots of these kind of gods that are only reserved for either sex. So there is some gods, for example gods and goddesses of birth, that some of them are for men and some of them are for women. And Sami societies overall, they were very patriarchal or male dominant because the culture is based on hunting, or was based on hunting. Now it's more based on reindeer herding. But anyway, Radien was god that both men and women could worship, and very much a god of, well, social intercourse and social activity and human relations, and this kind of god of community. And unlike in many other Sami gods and goddesses, Radien has a whole community behind him because he has a family. He has a wife called Rattenakka and daughter called Rananeita, and also son called Roddepodni. I think I pronounced that right. These are in northern Sami. So this is the god of community that has this community of spirits as a family. So he's protector of the family, and so are his family members, also protectors of the family. And he's also the god of fertility and protector of the reindeers. And the reindeer culture is something where the Sami people, their whole lifestyle is to pretty much intertwined with reindeer herding and reindeer culture. So No wonder that Radien, as fertility god, is also the protector of the reindeers. Some of the rituals where Radien was worshipped, they were very bloody because people sacrificed reindeer genitals to this god and asked for good prospects for them and their community and families. And I have done some research on Sami shaman drums and the pictures in the Sami shaman drums. And what is interesting in shaman drums in the area of Lapland is that they have pictures painted, and this is something that native people in many other cultures haven't done. They have pretty much blank drums, but Sami people have this rich culture where they have painted pictures to their shaman drums, and this is very valuable because the Sami mythology and folk tales, they were told orally and told from one generation to another generation, and they weren't written down until within recent centuries, and even then they were often looked through Christian lens. So the pictures that there are in the shaman drums and in the cave paintings are very valuable when we try to understand the Sami culture and the mythology and the lifestyle of those people, of our ancestors. So I did some digging of pictures in Sami shaman drums about Radien. So this is one that I found, and I think this depicts pretty much the way Radien is portrayed as an abstract god. So I can see reindeer horns here and there, and I assume that this is pretty much a symbol for the world tree, because Radien, he is connected with the idea of the world tree, and world tree, that is extremely common symbol in archaic mythologies over all the world, especially within Germanic mythology, in Finnish mythology, in Baltic mythology, in Slavic mythology, and in Sami mythology. In Sami mythology, world was made from three levels. There was the underworld, there was the middle world, and the upper world, and that was connected together all by this great invisible pole, or world tree as people usually refer it. So Radien is connected with the world tree, and I think it makes sense because he's the god of fertility, and that makes him the god of life as well. So I see the world tree here, but maybe other people see different things. Then I found one with Radien as human personification, and there we can also see the reindeer or tree branches, reindeer antlers or tree branches. And this, for me, represents the world tree as well. I don't know, maybe. Then another one, and there we have a reindeer god, literally, and also the world tree, and I don't know about you, but I see the three levels of the world, but it is really hard to interpret these pictures, but I see the reindeer god there. And also I see also this Sami Seita, and Seita, it means a sacred worshipping place, or like a sacred grove where people would go to worship their gods. And Sami people, their Seitas, they were usually this kind of formation made from stones or different kind of tree branches put together, and usually there was reindeer skull on the top of it. And the antlers, they had very important role for connecting to these because they are pointing to the sky, so they are connected to universal energies. So that was the story of Radien. And the next god is going to be Windman. Is believed to be one of the oldest Sami gods, and his name is Ilmaris in northern Sami. I found this extremely interesting because in Kalevala in Finland, the Finnish anthology, one of the cultural heroes is Ilmarinen, and then in Baltic mythology they also have a god called Ilmaris. So I start to see that Ilmaris, Ilmarinen, whatever his name is, he's part of very archaic mythology of the first people without any kind of tribe label among them. So it's something very, very ancient, and this god is very fascinating. And this is Ilmaris. He's also known as Piekkolmai, the Windman, in some Sami language. And Ilmaris, he is usually portrayed as a standing man holding 2 shovels each side. So that's him holding 2 shovels. And Sami gods, they are really fascinating. And Ilmaris, well, he's often portrayed as a man. People more approach him as a spirit, because it is believed that as Sami gods, they lived within nature, like on the top of the high rock or on the top of the mountain. That's where Ilmaris lived, or his spirit lived, on the top of something very high place. And Ilmaris, he is the creator of the wind. The wind and the storms that would largely affect which way the reindeer herd would be going. So, creator of the wind was very respected deity. So the Sami people, they sacrificed reindeers for Ilmaris. Last but not least, Leibolmai, the alderman. Alderman, he's the Sami god of hunt. So Leibolmai or Leibolmai, in Finnish leppämies. You can hear the similarity between Sami languages and the Finnish language. And Leibolmai was the god of hunt and god of blood. So when we translate his name to English, it means alder man of the alder tree. So he would be the spirit living in the alder tree. And there you can also understand how the Sami people did not personify their deities that much. And the culture, it was also a hunting culture, so the god of hunt, of course, was very respected. And one way how people respected Leibolmai was that they would take the bark from the alder tree and would boil it. And the bark from the alder tree, if you boil it, you get some red color from it. And with this color, the Sami people, they painted their shaman drums, or the pictures to their shaman drums. And this red color, it is also the color of blood, which is the color of life. And also the ancient cave paintings and the rock paintings, where we get information about the Sami lifestyle that are thousands and thousands of years old. They're also painted with these paint cut from alder tree, and also the cave paintings that you can find from Finland, from the rocks and caves, they are also painted with alder tree. So it is believed that this god was also perhaps also worshipped in Finland at some point in history, but I think it was the Sami people who worshipped him, because the Sami people, before the Baltic tribes arrived, the Sami people used to live much more around Finland in different areas. But the more and more history has developed, become closer to our modern day, the more and more the Finnish government has pushed Sami people to live way north, and this has happened in all Scandinavian countries. It also happened during Soviet Union, but in fact after Soviet Union breakdown and Russia got back, the situation among the Sami people in Russia has got a little bit better. Labelmai was worshipped by painting these pictures of this god to shaman drums, and in a way the Sami people thought that it was the god's blood that they painted their drums. So this is one way to create drum a holy part of the shaman work and really see drum as a spiritual device, magical device. So thank you for watching, guys. I hope this wasn't too freaky for you. I like freaky stuff. So thank you for watching. Bye.